name is Celine, and I'm running to be your next arts counselor.
My name is Jack. I've spent 2 years on the AHSC, and joining has been one of the best decisions I've made at Western. My 3 main platform pillars are opportunity, advocacy, reform, and connection. My opportunity pillar is centered around forming and promoting arts students' opportunities, such as bursaries, contests, and more diverse internships. Under my advocacy reform pillar, I plan to make the Equity Commissioner into the Vice President Equity, reform the Equity Committee into the Equity Portfolio. I hope for AHSC to collaborate with advocacy-based programs. I hope to use my spot on the USC to join the Anti-Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Working Group. My 3rd pillar is connection. And under this pillar, I hope to combat student disconnectedness within the faculty and council through annual general meetings, a new online OWL platform that will be available to all art students, and feedback forums.
The first goal I have is connection and outreach. So I want to ensure that your needs and concerns are heard. So I want to keep you informed on relevant motions, updates in the USC, and arts-related programming. So I want to facilitate a greater understanding of what the USC is, what the arts counselor role does, and how you can be involved in student government. And finally, I want to target first-year students, especially with these outreach and involvement opportunities. The second goal I have is representation and advocacy. So I want to ensure that arts is given a representative voice and vote in the USC that reflects your needs. I also want to champion for greater breadth and funding for art students applying to internships/experiential learning opportunities. And thirdly, I want to advocate for better solutions and attention given to your current academic concerns surrounding arts courses and programs, such as better feedback mechanisms and accommodation systems. My last platform goal is equity and wellness. So I want to contribute to ongoing encouragement and support for female identifying BIPOC, especially in politics. I also want to push for further strides in policy changes, especially in the fields of anti-racism/anti-oppression and anti-gender and sexual-based violence by furthering the work of this year's working groups. I also want to share comprehensive guides about and demand for better mental health resources. And then fourthly, I want to encourage sustainability progress by supporting initiatives like a paperless faculty.
My main reason for running for president initially is because I was seeing a few issues that are based on the structure of how equity is run on council. And I believe that council has a lot of really, really passionate advocates that really care about these causes. But there are structural changes that need to happen in order to support these advocates.
I definitely wanted to run because, as I mentioned in my presentation, there's a lot that I was able to do as DR this year, but there's so much more that my constituents have been asking for that I simply am not able to do. I'm not able to reach the full range of the faculty in terms of like mental health, anti-racism. I've prepared for this by kind of holding the advocacy position already as a languages and linguistics TR.
I really, really strongly am behind creating the equity portfolio because I really feel as though that restructure is super important in legitimizing ourselves as an advocacy-based student body.
The thing that I'm most proud of is the thing that I would have wanted to see myself in first year. So that would be the kind of comprehensive mental health guides that I discussed. I just found it really inaccessible and really overwhelming to try to access. And this is something that may not even just affect the arts faculty and those constituents, but the broader university as a whole.
There's a bit of confusion around how to create scholarships, through student funds. There is already a scholarship that does exist used through student donations, but there are concerns about how admin might react to my ideas in creating these. But I believe that, showing my results with student consultations and communicating with admin, the work that's already been done, I believe it's very doable.
So the 2 biggest concerns I've heard is people firstly asking me what the USC counselor even is, and then secondly, not knowing what's going on after they understand that. So I want to make sure that people are informed on what it is through creating infographics, as I mentioned in my platform, about what the USC does, what they can expect from me. And then after that, I want to make sure that they're updated with what I'm going to be doing by providing social media updates, monthly opt-in emails, and focus groups. So that way I can kind of get their feedback while also providing them information on what's relevant in the USC.
International students are not being treated fairly right now, especially with the tuition changes, despite having an online semester, and that's been really unfair. So again, on the USC, I think being extremely vocal about that and advocating for that change, because that advocacy can be really effective, and we've seen that in the changes being made. So consulting with the students, seeing directly how they're affected, even though we already know the ways that Western is hurting them, and advocating for that change on the USC.
Affordability is definitely a big issue. I'm personally, of course, not an international student, but the international students I've consulted with has told me it's become a really big barrier and a great stressor on mental health in their lives. So just it's hard for a single person to tackle on their own, but since I'm sure a lot of counselors will also have these concerns, kind of working together with them to see what we can come up with in order to better advocate for that. And of course, if any motions come up, I will definitely be on the side of making things more affordable for international students because the prices are way too high right now.
I think a few people were a bit worried about, like, if I'm even able to make bursaries and scholarships, and I would like to confirm the fact that they have already been done. It would just be a matter of writing it into the budget and then having a motion. The only potential barrier would be that it has to get approved by the admin. Such scholarships have been approved by the admin before. All I would need to tackle in terms of like creating a new portfolio would be ensuring that the honorarium is able to go to the new VP equity.
I'm currently outlining my platform to try to sit on the anti-racism and the anti-gender and sexual-based violence working group. Those two issues are the most important to me personally, and also what my constituents have told them are the most pressing concerns for them. So I definitely try to get an arts voice in there.
Communicating with constituents and just being involved in the arts community, but also through my roles that I have taken on. My role as a communications comm in first year and being involved in the communications portfolio, and then being elected as English DR in my into the second year, and now in the academics portfolio. And I've gotten a really good understanding and feel of what every portfolio needs. And I feel like that's prepared me very well to oversee all of the portfolios.
Prioritizing mental health can be done in a lot of ways. I think one of the ways I kind of mentioned on my platform is to try to work with Senate to make sure that profs are being more accommodating and that they are being held accountable, because I know that academics in particular can take a huge toll on students' mental health and stress. So just making sure that even though students are held to this high standard in school, that profs are being held to just as high of a standard as well.
Like to start, I am really looking forward to the opportunity to make tangible change, and change that really does benefit, the entire community, but especially marginalized groups that I'm really passionate in advocating for and on behalf of. I'm just really looking forward to creating opportunities for students. I'm really looking forward to just having the opportunity to connect with everybody who's on council and for students who are off council and advocating on their behalf.
The first thing that I would do is definitely try to communicate with everyone else who's been elected to try to start making those connections, because I think those are undeniably important on the USC floor. But I think some of the things in my platform can be immediately implemented, such as the infographics I mentioned and the guides. I can start making those whenever I have free time, and I think those resources will be handy as soon as I can get them out.